Welcome back to the IBFP. Here's your host, Boxing News.
Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. These are the Frauds of Boxing Part 1. This is a new series we're introducing. These are fighters who think they want to smoke, who say they want to smoke, who act like they want to smoke. But in reality, these guys really don't want to fight the best. These guys really are not the fearless warriors that they present themselves as. So let's be honest and unbiased and break it down. The first fighter we start with is Jermall Charlo. Jermall Charlo was confronted with Danny Jacobs, after he said that he would like to fight Danny Jacobs, talked a lot of noise about Danny Jacobs, and Danny Jacobs, tamed that lion. And let's be honest and unbiased about it. And when you dig right into it, after Danny Jacobs, beat Magi Sulecki, he called out Jermall Charlo in Brooklyn. And, that was a fight that many people thought would get made. And instead of taking the Danny Jacobs fight, instead of taking a golden opportunity to get a significant name on his resume, people believed he was truly better than Danny Jacobs. He in turn fought a Matt Korobov. And, prior to that, he was trying to fight Willie Monroe. But Willie Monroe had to pull out of that fight. And so he fought Matt Korobov on short notice. But this is also a Matt Korobov who's been on the couch, who's been inactive. And so when he fought Matt Korobov, it was a very controversial fight, a controversial decision. And, even Matt Korobov has been proclaiming that he won that fight, that he beat Charlo. And instead of giving Matt Korobov a rematch, Jermall Charlo looked in another direction. But after that fight, Danny Jacobs yet again challenged Jermall Charlo. It's personal for him. He really wanted to fight. So would he do a Matt Korobov rematch? Would he fight Danny Jacobs? Would he truly take the smoke? No. He fought a guy moving up from 154 in Brandon Adams, a fight that does absolutely nothing for his career. And so we have to be honest and unbiased that Jermall Charlo is an absolute fraud in boxing. But let's keep it going. Gervonta Davis, was offered over $5 million for the Tevin Farmer fight. A lot of people are saying that, Tank Davis is the A side. $5 million, that's bigger than any payday Gervonta Davis has ever had. But people were stuck on this A side thing. So Eddie Hearn came out and said, look, Gervonta Davis is a bigger name than Tevin Farmer. He's going to get 60-40 of any split that they do on the zone, in a massive sum of $5 million for the fight. This seems like a no-brainer for anybody, but no, on the other end, they turned around and offered Tevin Farmer $2 million offer for the Gervonta Davis fight, and who knows what that split was. So they made a lowball offer on purpose, basically as a way to duck and avoid the fight, not to fight Tevin Farmer. And the worst part about it is, Tank Davis would most likely be favored to beat Tevin Farmer. Tank Davis was most likely favored to beat Tevin Farmer and possibly even stop him. But here's the worst part. Tank Davis turned down the money. He turned down the fight. And people are going to blame his promotional company. But the fact that Tank Davis is a boxer, has a right to fight for any fight he wants, to encourage or push for any fights he wants, because ultimately he's supposed to have the say, He has proved himself as a fraud and a coward in boxing. Let's keep it going. And, the last fighter that we have on our list today on the Part 1 series is Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua called out Deontay Wilder after breezing past Joseph Parker and, and unifying a belt. He called out Deontay Wilder. He was attempting to make that fight. And, Deontay Wilder pretty much ignored him, looked towards Tyson Fury as saying that's the biggest fight in the division, not Anthony Joshua, trying to downplay Anthony Joshua at any turn he get. Anthony Joshua steps out to America, comes to America on U.S. soil, calls out Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and really wants these fights. These guys try to blackball him out of the fights, do not want to give him an opportunity, basically ignores him. Then Deontay Wilder turns around and says Anthony Joshua is begging him for a fight. Now, this shows you the type of fraud and hype job Deontay Wilder is when you feel like a champion, a unified champion, a guy who's obviously the A side, a guy who has, way more star power, money, belts than you. And he's begging you for a fight because you simply will not accept. And your fanboys are delusional and thinking that you're the baddest man on the planet. You're absolutely a fraud. And then Deontay Wilder does something in boxing history that I don't think I've ever seen done, and that's turned down $100 million plus offer to face Anthony Joshua. If that doesn't say fraud, I don't know what does. Once again, unbiased as always, this is the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.